Hello, suppressive persons all around the world. Jeffrey Augustine, Scientology Money Project, come to you with some breaking news. Just jumped on a live. Well, today I did a live stream walking around Pack Base here in Los Angeles, where the Aftermath Foundation put up their bulletin, put up their board, their billboard right there on New Hampshire at Fountain, and uh, so we got some breaking news. It just shows, oh, how desperate you are, David Miscavige and Osa. Hello, sweet Lily Love. Good to see you. Libby, welcome to the show. Libby Abston. And we have Goodgasm 69. Oh, I like it that I had a killer time at the James Jones Kool-Aid. Oh, that is funny. Look at Goodgasm 69's look at his avatar. I had a killer time at the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. What is it? Kool-Aid Festival. Yeah, I bet you did. Boy, when we I'm sorry. Cost reacts to everything like a 9-year-old. It's bratty kid. It's worse than that. I ain't say that. No kidding. Are they allowed to do that? They don't give a shit what they're allowed to do. You know what? David Miscavige does it because he's like, whatever part of your brain's responsible for actually thinking rationally like an adult, like an ecclesiastical leader. He can't. This is early in the tube, but I'll use the word BS crazy and I'll come in later. Warrior Queen, glad to see you here. Woo-hoo, I made it. I'm glad to have you there. Hello, Karen. Good evening to you. And Goodgasm. Rather be in Maui. Me too. New subscriber. Love the live today. Well, thank you. Rather be in Maui. I would like to be there too. Lisa Love, my thought when watching your video earlier, wonder when they're going to get a bigger machine. Law. Well, they fucking did. And I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm going to show you some pictures of what they did. I'm going to get the comments, but let me just show you the latest, because this is just so science. Oh, Osa, you are so fucking scared, you little. That's why Scientology is called a cult, because you idiots in Osa, you friggin' idiots. Usually the rule when you're digging a hole, you stop digging. You're digging yourself in a hole, you stop digging. But Scientology can't. It can't. This is how much confront they have. Zero. Tom Cruise, you're a disgrace. You really are. You're a great movie star, but you and your cult are just a disgrace. And so it's just, yeah, okay. Now, I just put this out on the Scientology Money Project. And look at this. Scientology switches to a large scissor lift to block the aftermath. Look at what they did. They went big. They had this tiny little shrimp dick thing of a lift. You saw earlier in my pictures, little tiny thing. So they decided, they ran out and rented a scissor lift. And they don't, it's like, how dare you call my religion a cult? Well, yeah, generally cults want to kill free speech, engage in censorship. So, okay, now Scientology has $100 million paperweight on Sunset called Scientology Media Productions. Nobody watches that garbage. It's junk. It's like nobody watches it. You can if you want, if you like have insomnia, like 3 minutes of that will put you to sleep or less. And yeah, so Lisa Love, yes, my thought when you were watching your video earlier, wonder when they're going to get a bigger machine. Well, Lisa Love, they went and did it, and that probably, well, they'll probably have they have bigger lifts than that, so they're probably spending $10 million to air freight went in on a 747 cargo plane, cargo aircraft. They're probably going to get the biggest one they can in from Russia. They're just going to break the sanctions, get a 747 or get a 747 to bring in a gigantic one. So they're probably going to go bigger than this. And there's one of my listeners was kind enough to send these pictures, and I thank them. But look at that. Oh my God, they are so useless. Okay, but let's just see more of the entertainment. There's another view of it. We have to block the sign. The whole agonized fate of the world's at stake. If anyone sees that, Sea Org members might know they have freedom to leave. Whereas Tori Magoo says that the way out is through the nearest door. L. Ron Hubbard used to say the way out is the way through. Tori modified it to say the way out is through the nearest door because they can't keep you there. And look at that. Hello, suppressive persons. Hello, Layla, SP. Hello from Alaska. Hi, Nancy Tyler Hess. Great to have you here from the northern climes near the North Pole, as we like to joke. Yeah, I just saw they put up another lift. Well, they did, and I bet they go bigger than this. I bet this was the biggest one they could get today. Because what I say, yesterday we had the Oscars. So I did some calling around today. And most of the equipment, the lift equipment, was being used by the Oscars because that's a big deal here in Hollywood, here in Tinseltown. And so a lot of the lifts were being used for banners and bunting and camera platforms. And apparently the story I got from my sources, this lift just came into the rental yard and Scientology made sure they got it over. They paid a premium to get it over there. Now, I'm going to confirm that, but the biggest lift they could get after the Oscars was that little tiny weenie lift, that little weenie lift, the COB type little weenie lift. And then as soon as they got the big manly man lift in, they get it in. Yeah, so they couldn't stand having that little tiny COB weenie lift in. So they got the big lift. And I bet they're going to get a bigger one because there's even bigger ones. And the Oscars are over. So all the equipment's rolling in tonight. Usually it takes at least 2 days to 2-3 days to recover from the Oscars. And that probably explains why they could only get the little COB weenie lift in. And they only seek to impress David M. and he's a dummy. Yeah. Funky Bee. I like your avatar. They're building death camps for our dreams. And Amway, if you're building your downline, Amway treats its SPs by saying, "You're a dream stealer. Stop trying to steal my dreams. I'm building an Amway downline. I'm getting rich." When I was in college, one of my college mates, the poor dear, she got suckered into Amway, and she said to me, "Jeff, I'm going to the top in Amway and I want to take you with me." And I said, no, Wendy, no. And she wasted a lot of her mom's money. Next, they will display a flag or a banner from the Scissor lift. Patrick Skinner, you get an A for guess. I think that's the prediction. I think they put up a big IAS banner. It'd be better if they put up a picture of David Miscavige, and I think I got just the picture. But yeah, they're going to hang a big flag from it. Something, it'll probably be, I don't know, put in the comments. Will it be about human rights, or will it be CCHR, an attack on psychiatric drugs, like psychiatry kills? Or will it be human rights are an inalienable right, and or will it be about freedom of speech? Oh gosh, it could be about all kinds of things. So yeah, that'd be a good idea to hang a big old flag from it. And maybe this thing I want to check. So it's like, it's so funny. And I wish I'd been there longer. I hung around for an hour and a half and I had a great live stream. It was a lot of fun hanging around. And then if I'd been around, I would have been able to So let me see this. I would have been able to, see them bringing in the big one. And okay, I'm just looking for something here. I want to show a picture of what I think they could put up. Oh yeah, here it is. It's one of my favorite. OT is great posts. Let me show that. I'm going to show you the flag I would put up if I were in charge. Okay. So let me share this. Okay, now this is what I would put up. To Patrick Skinner's point, I bet they go with this. And stop screen there, and we're going to share. Okay, now this is from my blog, otisgreat.com, my satire blog. Share. And we're going to go. That's what I would go with. I would go with the Chairman Dave. Now, I did this is a spoof on Chairman Mao, but that's what I would put up. I would show Chairman Dave, well, all of his devoted Scientology minions. That's what I would hang. And then I would have them out crying and screaming about how great Chairman Dave is and how good and beneficent he is and how he's crushed all suppression. Look at him. I bet this is where he goes to, I bet he looks at he follows his watches his speeches every night. So I think they go with this type of banner, and that's what I would do. I think he looks good there. I actually think he looks good. Instead of he's got that Sherman Mao look. He's gonna, so if he went big, there he goes. There he is. That's what the mighty COB would look like without his hair plugs. He joined the Cult Leader Hair Club for Men. And that's what he looks like in real life, So there you go. Let's go back to some comments because this is I got such a hoot out of this because you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen. And Apostate Alex, evening all. Hey, Apostate Alex, where is Lord Wankerton to comment on this? Wise Mama, hey, yeah, no kidding. Hey, what are you doing, Scientology? And you know what? With live stream media, they can't get away with it. They cannot get away with it because SPTV is pervasive. We're pervasive on the streets of Hollywood. We own the streets, and they have their little islands of. I was thinking of little Davy is a child in a child's body. Yeah, he is. He's a rodent. His mother used to call him Little Hitler. That's a true story. Billboard envy. Yes, it is Freudian. Somebody in OSHA is really going to suffer for all this, heavy MEST worker says. I agree with you, but I think it's going to be everybody. And one test we're going to find out is the HGB there on Ivar in Hollywood. 10th, 11th floor is OSA, Office of Special Affairs, formerly the Guardian's Office. And if you're watching my live the other night, the Guardian's Office started out on the ship. After Snow White, they melted down the Guardian's Office and just reconverted it into Office of Special Affairs. Tom Cruise ruined Jack Reacher. He sure did. I like the new Jack Reacher better. Most of the Scientology budget has to be devoted to dealing with SPs. Oh, yeah. And lawsuits, SPs. I just started following Fox Scientology free speech. Good, Blue Diamond 913. I'm glad you did that. So take note of those tags that Blue Diamond 913 has posted. Scientology and free speech. Yes, that's it. That's already down. What's already down? FB11. Now, instead of a billboard, they got a funny national news story that 1,000 times the people will see. That's exactly it. It's the Streisand effect. They couldn't be content. If they had left up the little COB weenie lift, little tiny COB weenie lift that I showed you today, it would have got like Streisand effect. But now they're just making it worse. And I'm telling you, they're going to get, now that the Oscars are clearing up and the big scissor lifts are coming in, the big boys, they're going to have one of those up because there's even bigger ones, you know? So they're going to have that, and they'll probably hang a flag, like Parker said, and it'll be a flag of Chairman David Miscavige. And yeah, it's going to go viral. You know, it's just so stupid. Oh, so you think that we're look, this is they are they pulled it in. I'm going to go back and share that again because it's just so much fun. Okay, this is the major suckage they're up against. That's how badly they suck. Look at this thing. Oh, look at that. And the big lift. They've got to put it all in. Maybe they'll get 2 giant lifts. So you can bet uh my lift's bigger than your lift. No, it's not. Well, I don't know. They seriously did that? Can you say desperate? Yes, they seriously did, and we have the photos. We have the photographs. And this story is gonna go viral. Jessica was just there and it's down. Oh, you mean that big lift? The big scissor lift is down? Could you please clarify, rather be in Maui? Is this did the big scissor lift come down and the little wingy lift go back up? Let me know. Lisa Love asks, does cult of Scientology own extra space storage? The answer is no. I wonder how much they're paying whomever off to park those things there. Well, you know what? No, the property, just so you're clear, on New Hampshire and Fountain, those are the streets in LA if you want to look in New Hampshire, which actually, you know, I was thinking in Theta Avenue. You look, if you look at New Hampshire and Fountain, you'll see that that building, there's some overseas storage containers. You can see the top here on this photo. You can see the top of an overseas shipping container. That Scientology owns that property that's screened off. That used to be the cadet org, that house of hell for children where children were trafficked. And no, Scientology owns that piece of property in the foreground. The question is, does the Billboard company have an easement? That is, are they paying Scientology for an easement? There's a court case somebody sent me where if they were paying for an easement, Scientology, if they're accepting money, and then that could be tortious interference. I don't know what's going on legally. But Scientology generally, like when it cut down those trees in Clearwater years ago, there were like 4 big, beautiful 100-year-old oaks. And the city told Scientology they can't take them down. They just sawed them down, paid the fines, and said, F it. And so that's the scofflaw, batshit insane Scientology. We don't have to obey the laws. And so crazy, says Nicole. I agree, Nicole. They are so crazy. Alex says to me, it just looks like they're succumbing to MEST again. You know, Alex, that's a good comment because in Scientology, Hubbard says survive is the key dynamic of existence. But Hubbard talks about succumbing. They've succumbed. But they're also, another way of saying it in Scientology is Scientology is going the effect of the Aftermath Foundation. They're going the effect of the Aftermath Foundation. That means what the Aftermath Foundation does now has complete control and power over Scientology, such Scientology's gone the effect. Mary Craig Smith, you can't compress a liquid, ref the power of hydronics. Yes, correct. Now, but you can bring in a lift. The sign company needs to add lights. Well, it does have lights. It has what are called uplighters. They set at a 45-degree angle and they uplight. So it has uplighters on it. I'm going to go down there and do a live and punch buggy. That's great. It is really a stretch. I saw what you did there. That's funny. Oh, hi, Monkey Paws. Thanks for watching from Australia. And when you cannot cure obscure, that's a really good slogan. When you cannot cure obscure, if you can't baffle them, or what is it I was saying? If you can't something with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. I forget what I said. So they own the property right in front of the sign. Correct. Well, how were they able to do that? No, they've had this property on New Hampshire and Fountain forever. And like I said, it's a cadet org, and now it's turned into a printing thing. So they've always owned this piece of property. And as to obscuring the bulletin board, if there's an easement and the bulletin board company has to go to court, Scientology is still like I said, it's like sawing down the trees that they did in Clearwater and not building the superpower building, which is now called the Flag Building, for 15 years. They don't, you got to understand, Scientology doesn't give a shit about the laws. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. And because, no, they care about the criminal law not getting caught. And what I've said before is the only crime in Scientology is getting caught. They're going to cover up crimes, serious felony crimes that we saw in Masterson. And they're also going to do this crap where someone has to go to court and get an injunction. And if they have to pay a fine, so what? It's your money. It's Bob Duggan's money and he's wasting it. Or it's someone else's money. Miscavige, money's not real to him. It's someone else's money. So he doesn't care. So even if this becomes a lawsuit, they don't care. They'll leave it up there and they'll drag out the lawsuit. And the bulletin board is rented for a year. So whether or not they have a right to do it, they don't care. They're just going to do it because Scientology is an obstinate, criminal, scofflaw, dirtbag organization run by a scofflaw, dirtbag, batshit crazy leader named David Miscavige, and is based on the rules of L. Ron Hubbard, who was also a pirate. This is so bizarre. It is, Calvin. It's bizarre. It's desperation. It's failure. Oh, MEST, Layla? MEST is L. Ron Hubbard's acronym, Matter, Energy, Space, and Time. So Hubbard, instead of just using a regular word like the physical universe, he calls it MEST. It's actually matter, energy, space, and time. And the OT will become cause over the MEST universe. So what Hubbard said is that the OT powers, secret OT powers, will give you powers over the physical universe, or what he called the MEST universe. In Scientology, as a term of speech, if something physical is called MEST. So Layla, let's say if I was a Scientology reg and you had a $2 million house, I'd say, Layla, sell your house because we need that money in Scientology to save the planet. You need it to go up your bridge to total freedom or insanity. But, let's floor out words. And if you said, no, I don't want to sell my house, I'd say, Layla, no, you're so committed to MEST. You're so committed to MEST. And it's like a way to invalidate you. Layla, she's so hung up on MEST. She's such a MEST being. She's such a MEST body. So that's a way to invalidate you. Peter Foster. Evening, sir. Hope you are well. Likewise, good sir. Hope you are doing very well. FB11. The Miscavige model. Yes, that's the tiny little blue weenie lift. Blue Diamond Ninth Turn. I just started following you. Thank you so much. I need followers. And just to piss off Scientology. The more people like me, the more they'll hate me. And that's good. Is it legal to leave it in the air because of safety concerns? I don't know the answer, Ashley, but they don't care. If that thing fell over and killed people, they'd worry about it later. This is why they're so friggin' nuts. You ask a great question, Ashley. Is something safe? They don't care. What they care about is covering up the sign. If they literally had to go buy North Korean orphans and build a curtain out of North Korean orphans, they would do it. And who knows, they may be on the same 747 air cargo jet flying over. So I think they're going to get a bigger one now that the Oscars are clearing up. And Mark, hey, welcome. Good to see you here. Mark is a brilliant photo shooter. Some of his shoots are hysterically comical. One of the best. He is a genius artist. They'll probably deploy. They'll probably. This is why I love Mark. They'll probably deploy The L. Ron Hubbard Memorial Underpants next. Yeah, they got big, huge, giant set of L. Ron Hubbard Memorial. Yeah, it's going to be a big, giant pair of skid marked L. Ron Hubbard Memorial underpants. It'll be that is funny. It'll be grande pantalones, huge underpants, the underpants of eternity. Because L. Ron Hubbard was such a big being, he needed the underpants of eternity, with a size 9,000 waist. And then he could put those up. That's funny. You're so okay. May the force be with you. May the force. Are we ready to get suppressive? Well, are we persons? I am. And Osa's watching this now, and they're saying, "Oh, well, see, we came to cause over the aftermath Billboard sign, and we put up a big lift." Well, that's just censorship, and the whole world knows that you're cowards. So what did you really do? What did you really do? And the photographs are all there. I'm glad I did the live today. From cherry picker to window washer, scissor lift tech, exactly it. Lift tech. And to this point, when we talk about lifts, David Miscavige wears lifts in his shoes because he needs to add that height. So he buys heels, shoes with high heels, and then inside of the heels are lifts. So he gets a couple inches. Then he has the ecclesiastical pompadour, so he adds 6 inches or so to his height, and so he likes lifts. He understands lifts. Probably COB. Maybe he got the idea of a lift from his shoes and his hair, and So I had a boss who was cuckoo for that prepaid legal. Yes, you can be, Mark Harmon. By hiding the sign, they only draw more attention to it. Poor, confused cultists. You are exactly correct, Mark. And yeah, it's only going to make it worse because this story, I'm telling you, can you guys check, are the live streamers down there? Because I want to head down if they are. I'm going to head down there and join them. Yes, they. What's the city ordinance on banners versus billboards? Can they do it without risking a fine? Well, that's the point I want to make, Punch Buggy. Scientology acts first and worries about fines, lawsuits, arrests later. You have to really get into your head how they want to impose their will on the MEST universe, as they call it, the physical universe. Scientology is belligerent, obstinate, law-breaking, and I'll put it to you in just simple, plain legal terms. They don't give a shit what happens. They will act first, and then the consequences come later. If they have to bribe, extort, break the law, they don't care. It's like, handle whatever's going on, deal with the consequences later. That's how they roll. They really, truly do not give a shit about the law. So they don't care what the city of LA thinks. They'll just throw a bunch of lawyers and money at it. They get fined. Who cares? It's parishioner money. And you sold your house to pay for it, they'll tell the OTs. So if I can get one thing out of here that's serious, is they do not give a fuck about the law. They don't. That's why they covered up Masterson's crimes. Big or small, they don't care. They'll cover up SA and they'll block a billboard. From misdemeanor to very serious felonies, they don't care if they break the law. They don't care. They consider that they're above WOG law. Some people don't like the W word, WOG, but it's what they call us. It's their derogatory term for us. They think we're humanoid and we're subhuman, that we're an inferior race. And that's why, I'm not kidding around. On my blog, you can read Hubbard's call for genocide against everyone 2.0 on the tone scale. If Scientology had the power and they had the means, they would execute people. I mean, if they did, if this were like a third world nation, they would do it. So you got to realize the brutality and the lawlessness at the heart of Scientology. MEST, matter, energy, space, and time, everything that exists. That is not spiritual bullshit, made up stuff. Yeah, MEST for Hubbard, there was the MEST universe, and Thetans who are spiritual were trapped. And this is the Gnostic conception of Scientology, that spiritual beings. Hubbard said in an interview that we were pulled down, and that's a Gnostic conception that there was. Hubbard doesn't have a demiurge, a classical Gnosticism. He has sort of a plural. The plural form of demiurge is demiurgy, the plural. Thetans mocking up the universe. But then there was a group, he said, outside of the MEST universe, our universe, who conspired to trap us in MEST. He doesn't explain why, but yeah, it gets into some Gnostic stuff. Yeah, someone could write a nice fluff piece with Creative Commons licensed photos and submit it to every paper. Well, we should. I might put out a press release. The best way to do something is to go to Scision and put out a press release. What is the name of the rental company? Unknown at this time, wise mama. Unknown. I'm going to get back to my source, who's union, worked the Oscars. So I'm going to try to get some more info. Look, when you're renting equipment and you can rent out a piece for a premium, you're going to rent it out. So it's not on the rental company. It's like, if you're renting it out, you'd say, and someone wants it right away, you name your price, and it's Scientology, you're going to milk those idiots. Cult wants to rent a lift, and you can get 10,000 for the 2 days. Who cares? Take the money. Matter, energy, space, time. Your Utology channel did a great short of your live already. You got to play it for us. Can you post the link, please, so I can play it for you? If you would be kind enough, may the force be with you. Please post the link, and we'll get on and we'll all look at it together, because I haven't seen it. Patrick Skinner, please don't give them more ideas. Yeah, like Mark giving them idea of flying Hubbard's galactic underpants off the lift. Artsy tartsy, like that. Hi, y'all. Greetings from Jacksonville. Man, glad to have you here. Have a seat. Pour yourself a drink. What would you like? You want some Shan? We got plenty of Shan. Myself, I'm going to drink some bourbon. Big spotlights. Yeah. And the big Hubbard cosmic galactic underpants. Maybe someone should tell Extra Space Storage that also interferes with Earth science. They are a big company and won't like that at all. That's a good point. That is a good point. It's hurting the advertising of their neighbors. And they're supposed to be, Scientology is supposed to be such a good neighbor. Just like State Farm is there. They're supposed to help out in East Hollywood, not do what they're doing. Do they have a permit for that monstrosity? I would imagine they rented it and they could put it on their property. But again, they don't care about the law. You got to realize how they don't care, how depraved Scientology is. So you have to shift your thinking. When you think about Scientology, you can't think like a rational person. You think like a batshit crazy cultist, like we're going to break the law, we're going to impose our will, we're going to crush them, whatever we have to do. That's why you're starting to see some violence out in the streets against the live streamers. It's likely dirty Scientology PIs hiring drug addicts or mentally ill, violent people to do some dirty deeds. That's what's likely going on. The Billboard company should offer an alternate location at no charges of courtesy. Well, they could, but that would be a failure. The objective here, the contract, is to put it at that location. So yes, they could do it, but that would be Scientology winning. That would be Scientology winning, and we don't want that to happen. This is about communicating to Sea Org members that there's a way out, and it's called the Aftermath Foundation. Can help you if you want to leave Scientology. Ocean Waves. Hello from Michigan. Hello to you. Ocean Waves in Michigan. Lol. Mao T8. That's clever. On Chairman Miscavige. Scientology off the rails. If that thing is raised up and someone gets hurt, that's a huge lawsuit. Whomever owns it might be interested in this info. Well, that's true. But again, they don't care. What David Miscavige wants, and because he's a freak, is he wants immediate gratification of blocking the sign And if someone gets killed, he doesn't care. He'll write a check later because it's not his money. And there's a horrible story of Rick Moxon's daughter, Ken Moxon, Scientology attorney. She went in she unalived herself by going into a vault out at the gold base, electrical vault underground. And she was electrocuted to, and she unalived herself. And there was a note unaliving herself. And Scientology made it look like they told OSHA that she ran down there trying to chase a squirrel. Now, you don't go down into an electrical vault like 440V chasing a squirrel. That was a offing herself. Okay. So to your point, you have to understand, in all seriousness, they don't care if people die. What they care about is imposing their will and getting their way. And that's why they're so vicious. They truly don't care about liability. They, if someone dies and it's a $10 million lawsuit for wrongful death or 25 million, they don't care. They spent $100 million to get out of the death of Lisa McPherson. That, according to Marty Rathbun, when he was on our side. Yes, Extra Space Storage might call on a lawsuit. Yeah, they would have to get an injunction, but the short-term goal is to cover that up. Just read an article, James Packer left Scientology. I thought he left some time ago. Could you post the link, AT, or send it to me? I'd like to read that. James Packer, I know he was involved for a while. A big billboard off the 405. Now, that could be a trade-off. That's some expensive real estate. Now, they might go for that, a big, something bigger and more spacious, but I don't know. There's all income and all kinds of things going on. I can see what you're saying, Leila, so now I understand. This is right now in the early stages, so, maybe there's something to be worked out. Thank you for clarifying. So powerful, he can't even move freely in public. That's true. David Miscavige is so powerful, but his kryptonite is subpoena, service of subpoena. That's David Miscavige's kryptonite. And he didn't like the little weenie lips, so they could be scissor one. Question: what? I'm not following you. Are you, Mary? Are you talking to me, or are you just questioning life? Mary, are you questioning life? Are you looking for the answers to life? We're so Mary and I are metaphysical. Today, I made a Platonic reference to jaywalking. How does it exist in the mind of God? Or is it just a status construct to extract wealth from citizens who were free to walk anywhere? Because Jesus walked anywhere, and nowhere in the Bible do we read about jaywalking and being a problem. So I don't think jaywalking exists in the mind of God. I think it's just a statist construct to confiscate wealth from the citizens by coercion and fraud called jaywalking. So that's just a thing I have. I once was threatened with a ticket for jaywalking outside the Transamerica building in the early 80s, and I talked my way out of it. So I go, it's not that it would have been a big thing, but it's just, so now, but clarify the question mark. Curious? Are you curious, Mary, or is there a question life? Please. Jenna Miscavige had to break the cans and bite her way out. Yes, that's true. Davy, the balding Kang Panger. Yeah, he's one of the pink boys of San Jacinto. Happy birthday, Raleigh Sport. Well, happy birthday to whomever's birthday it is. So Scientology owns the property immediately in front of that billboard, or what? Yes, they do. They do own it. And go to the Google machine, and it would be the southeast corner, New Hampshire, and New Hampshire and Fountain. So you go to Google Maps, find L. Ron Hubbard Way, which is on Sunset Boulevard and L. Ron Hubbard Way. You go down east, and then you'll see New Hampshire, and you'll see they do own that property where the lifts are parked. Yes, they do own that. And they've owned it for a long time. They bought it, I guess, when they got the hospital. Captain Dave needs big hair because that's where Danny Masterson's tiny little gun is being hidden. it's it's woven into the fabric of COB's hair. Time to get the LA Times to follow the Billboard battle of East Hollywood. Everyone loves David and Goliath battles. You are true, Delwood Kelp. I think that's a great idea. Yes. Okay, now who has a oh, that's right. Stupid me. Let's I'm going 100 miles an hour, and we forgot that it is America's #1 self-help best-selling author, L. Ron Hubbard, over 10 million copies sold. Wait a minute. I was on my video today. Wait a minute, Scientology. Okay, I know birthday boy L. Ron Hubbard's birthday is coming up May 13th. Now, this is bullshit. I was at the Sea Org, the Church of Scientology LA today, and it said like there were over 50 million copies sold. And yet this one says 10 million copies sold. You're getting into like Grant Cardone numbered nonsense. Cardone numbers. So, yes, I forgot it was Lafayette Ronald Hubbard's birthday coming up on the 13th, which is in and that's why Mark Headley today said that they got the billboard for L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. So Xenu forbid that there should be an Aftermath Foundation bulletin board up on Lafayette Ronald Hubbard's birthday. He was born in 1911. So let's do the mathematics. I have a calculating device. I have a 4-function calculator. You should all get one. They're the most marvelous things. They're selling them at Sears here now in 1972. 2024 minus 1911, the year of Lafayette Ronald Hubbard's birthday. So Ron, had he not dropped his body to go into Target 2, would be 113 years old today. 113. Someone's life-saving donated to Sci-Pay just to cover up this one billboard for a while. That's exactly it, because they piss away money on lawyers, PIs, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, someone's life savings rented that scissor lift. Hey, Scientology, Psychonagi. D. Murray, hi y'all, ma'am. Good evening. Good to see you. Lisa Love. What is the cross street, New Hampshire and Fountain? Fountain. 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 As in fountain of blessings from the old Christian hymn. Fountains of, fountain of blessing. Fountain. My long-haired Chihuahua has a birthday on Wednesday. No lie. So I wonder if that's the reincarnated L. Ron Hubbard, if he came back actually as a Chihuahua. Does he have red hair? Artsy tartsy. Call OSHA. You know what? People, I think, have called OSHA, and we'll see how this shakes out tomorrow. Betsy, the past Secretary of Education appointed by former POTUS, her family is Amway at the top, own baseball teams, 8 yachts, or is it 25? Her bro, Eric Prince. Oh, yeah. Those guys, the Amway clan has a lot of money, and they are conservatives. Billboards are protected under the First Amendment. You are correct, Cynthia Ortegon. But the issue here is the blocking of billboards. So if Scientology sold an easement to the billboard company to operate a billboard, and now they're engaging in tortious interference so that the billboard company cannot operate its billboard, then that's what will happen. It'll go to court. Furthermore, Punchbuggy writes, OSHA, furthermore, in each type of machine, there is a hazard that the attachment feature may unexpectedly drop raised position and unintended. Therefore, Bobcats, backhoes. Yes, I know what you're saying. I was thinking earlier too, you have to have outriggers to hold these things up, and you have to stabilize the outriggers. So if outriggers are, they come out like that from a lift, you have to have outriggers. And so if you don't secure the outriggers carefully, the thing can tip over. And there's weight and balance things, and there's a right way to get a lift up and the wrong way. Demery, love. Lisa, it's Franklin. And trenchers fall within the provision scope of similar equipment, and the employer is required to fully lower or block the equipment's attachment feature when the equipment is not in use. I'm glad we have some placing all controls in neutral, the motor off, and the brakes set. Good. Thank you for that. So we're going to see if there's equipment failure. Yeah, things could go really bad. Things could go really bad. Red Guards at Big Blue. Oh, I like that title. That could be like a mini series, a drama. Red Guards at Big Blue. I think it's a totally OSHA violation. But again, Scientology doesn't care what rules or laws they violate. They'll just pay a fine and move on. Okay, we're going to stay a little bit out of the politics here because we're not political. Oh yeah, Aftermath Foundation bought it, Amy. Yeah, they must be mad. Yeah, but Scientology, Scientology, you got to expect a fight. So maybe it goes into the court. But the thing is, it's such bad publicity. You know what? I got some some information that when they were down there this morning, Phil was down there, and it was being filmed, and I'm going to get some footage. As soon as the billboard started going up, Amy, the all the bosses, whoever's the admiral that runs, I forget the titles. Yeah, it's like the executive director or something. I forget whoever runs the Sea Org pack base, and they ordered all Sea Org inside so they could be away from in Theta Avenue. I got to thinking of that Eddie Grant song in the 1980s of Electric Avenue. So that's where I'm thinking we're going to change Fountain to in Theta Avenue and SP Way, L. Ron Hubbard to SP Way. So meet me on the corner of in Theta Avenue and SP Way. Yam Chop. Yeah, boom lifts are usually left like that. Scissor lifts are not. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm glad we know we have such a talented audience of technical. That is so pathetic. The whole thing is the lift was still there when Jess was just there. Oh, okay. Then I'm going to go down and check it out. No, they're both still up. Well, Bob Cox, since I'm nearby, I can become mobile and do another live. And La Osa Nostra. Amy, that's a great name. That's La Osa Nostra. Oh, I like that. Flunked again. They always flunk. Your favorite Uncle Hubert. Hi, Jeffrey Harwin. Hello, Uncle Hubert. You're looking disturbed this evening. Well, that's to say normal. Uncle Hubert, sometimes he's grim, but he's actually quite a jovial fellow. The great thing about this lift is it makes it totally clear to the people of LA that the Scientologists are prevented from seeking help. Correct, heavy mess worker. They're blocking. Scientology. If you go into their human rights BS, they talk about free speech. They don't want it. North Korea equals flag. True. True, Jay Young. The ultimate church of no, can't hear you. That's right. I can't hear you because I'm listening to lectures of L. Ron Hubbard talking about the implanting stations on Mars. And actually, when the Theta drops the body, he is pulled to the implanting stations on Mars. Quite diabolical indeed. And he's subjected to a series of motion pictures. Shut up, Ron. You know, you can listen to these L. Ron Hubbard, and he goes on and on. And by actual research, we have found that not smoking enough causes cancer. Not smoking enough causes cancer. Yep. And I thought the money went to Davies hair plugs, elevator shoes, and handmade apple boxes. Part of it does. And he probably has backup hair plugs, elevator shoes, and handmade apple boxes. Your fave uncle, you're right. The lifts make you want to look harder. True. Aja is live there now, and they're still blocking the sign. Okay, so now we know. Thank you for posting that. No it wasn't down. Go back on Jessica's live. Both lifts are still up, and she was filming from ground after the lifts. Okay, good. I'm glad Jessica Palmadessa is out there. I heard Streets LA mention it today. He was reading his text going down. He was down, I think, on Sunset. I bet this is a violation of the rental agreement too. Yep, but again, they'll break the law and worry about the consequences later. Most of this kind of stuff, you write someone a check and it goes away. We pay $1,200 a month for boom lifts. I imagine LA would be $3K. Well, you know what? Yam Chop is actually more, and because especially when you have an Oscar or a big event, and we have the marathon. The LA Marathon is coming up this Sunday. So between the Oscars and the marathon, a lot of that equipment, it's like peak pricing. And I don't know. And there's a lot of construction going on in LA. It was like when Vegas was building big back around 2004, a lot of the world's cranes just were in Vegas, and not a lot of the world's cranes are in China as their real estate market falls apart. So I don't think you could get $3,000 a month for a boom lift. I think it would be a lot more expensive with the sheer amount of construction. Just today, I showed you they're building that big, it looked like an eight or 10-story condo complex on New Hampshire, right next to Big Blue. It's just east of Big Blue. So pricing, we checked. That's an interesting point. If the city finds out that people are climbing on that, it would have to be removed. Just saying, yeah. But the problem is, you would be trespassing to climb on it, and it could be dangerous. But yeah, uh, who knows what'll happen? Oh yeah, fountain memory is yeah. No, it's just it's a senior moment. I wonder if it is illegal to block. Well, that's what we're gonna. That's what we're gonna have find out. That's what we're gonna find out soon enough. I don't know if it's illegal. We need some lawyers. The cars still see as they pass around foot traffic. They are so stupid. Yeah, and that's the point. That's the point, Peter. This is now a breaking news story, and so it's a breaking news story, and we're gonna find out. Oh yeah, okay. Um, yeah, tax-free dollars. Does Cost own that lot with the cranes? Yes, they do. Yes, yes, they do. People are coming into the stream live, like Elementis. So yes, I'll just they do own the lot where the cranes are, and that used to be, like I said, the Cadet Org, and now it's a printing. They do some printing there. Tallman Sonny's have illegal tints. That's true. He does. Timmy Tallman, he has illegal tints. I almost read tints incorrectly as something else. It shows the rest of the world that they're trying to stop their members leaving. True. It tells us all the horror stories are true, and it draws the attention of the sign. All correct. All correct, Ruby. And it just makes it worse. And I want the story to go viral and the whole world to know that they are into censorship, and they'll do anything to hide it. They can't take down the bulletin board, but they can work to block it. Will somebody be assigned a lower condition for the billboard? I imagine a whole bunch of people will be. Karen, my lovely wife, if you're watching this, could you comment? I'm sure a lot of people are going to go into hellishly lower conditions tonight. Oh, back to my point about the HGB on Ivar and Hollywood. One of the indices we use, and there's some yahoo who gets this wrong. He thinks he's a local Hollywood hipster. He's not. I've been here my whole life. I know Hollywood better than that guy. If the lights are on past 11 at night at the HGB on the 10th and 11th floor, there's a big flap and they're working late and they're going to be eating mid-rats. Those are midnight rations. They call them mid-rats. And the Seaborg will be eating mid-rats, figuring out how to deal with the sign. How do we get that sign down? So you can see already it's a crisis. It's a global international crisis for all of Scientology, and they're probably using it to fundraise. Bob Duggan, we need another $20 billion to fight this sign on Fountain. Please send the money now. Where is this? Is this in Hollywood? Yes, it's in East Hollywood at L. Ron Hubbard Way and Sunset. You just go down L. Ron Hubbard Way. Sunset parallels Fountain. So you just go south down to Fountain. So look at L. Ron Hubbard Way and Sunset, and then just go east, and then you'll go over and see Fountain Avenue and New Hampshire, and that's where you'll see it. I know a kid who has his belongings stolen from there. Yeah, hidden camera and stairwell. Yeah, that's a bad part of town late at night. Yeah, hello, Cinderella. Oh my God, yeah. Um, I love how much this has to tweak search for Scientology. Yeah, it's kind of Schadenfreude. The average daily price for scissor lift rental in LA is $245. Now, is that, I appreciate that. Now, is that for like the little COB tiny weenie lift, or is that for the big scissor lift? And I guess you have to pick it up at the yard yourself and tow it. That's an interesting data point. I always tend to think, seems like it would cost more. So maybe that's for a little lift. It's not like but I don't rent construction equipment. It's not like a thing I do because I'm not into construction. I'm thinking of they need to move the billboard to the top of the building. Problem solved. You would think, but then Scientology would just, get a 100-story inflatable building built. They would figure out something because that's how they are. I'm going to go back here and I'm completely lost. Google Chrome just is not. Hold on, let me do this. I'm sorry. Just bear with me a minute, folks. We're moving so fast that my do you ever have your like screens? Okay, I want to show you something. Here was a concept I had. It's just a concept. I'm gonna stop sharing this. I need to show you something. Big Blue. I had this idea once. I thought it was a good idea. And you know what? No matter what kind of how high you went up, Scientology is just going to keep fighting you. And they bought buildings recently. Okay, so two things. We're going to go open link in the tab. Okay, now, first of all, one of the things I did on my blog. So now I say the billboard company should raise the metal post. Yes, but here's what could happen. And share. Okay, now here's what could happen. And this again is just pure satire, but sometimes art imitates life, life imitates art. I had a proposal on OT, it is great, that they should just have Scientology Tower, that they should add like 100 stories to it. So in David Miscavige's ideal world, or as I conceived it, that is what you would do. You would build a giant tower to loom above all of East Hollywood. And then David Miscavige could cackle. Yeah, adding 24 extra stories. That was it. This was something I did back in 2017. Yeah, that's what they should do. So if you raise the billboard, Scientology would just get a building permit, and they might make Big Blue. They might not only make it high, but they might make it take up 25 city blocks. 25 city blocks. They might just shoot their wad, spend everything on why spend all your money on ideal orgs that are scattered when you could like get 24 city blocks of East Hollywood to make a giant tower. That's what they should do. And they could do something like that because they're insane. And I had another idea that was equally bad. I think it was funny. This is a thing that I think they should have done. And this might have solved the problem, but they never listened to my advice. I have such good advice, and Scientology never listens to it. What they should have done is this is from 2019. I was thinking that they should just sell advertising. They should have erected their own billboard to offset declining revenues. So if you were driving by and they were Jack in the Box, the double Jack bacon cheeseburger, that's what they could do. But they could make it where you can't put suppressive messages on it. So that's one concept I think they could go with, is to do their own billboards, Scientology billboards. That's something to think about for revenue. Okay, so let's go back to this outrage. Christina Lembo, thank you for explaining everything. You do it very well. Well, thank you, Christina. That's very kind of you. I try to make my English degree mean something, so I don't have this sense of failure. I think, though, honestly, I've gotten more out of my English degree than probably most English majors out there. But thank you. That was very kind. Jules fires rocks. There's a billboard across the street from Chicago.org. Streamer Trashy V12 BMW was going to look into it. Ooh, I like that name. Streamer Trashy V12 BMW. That would be nice if there would start being a proliferation of billboard arising out of SPTV. That would be deluxe. I have billboards here in New Jersey, Christina says. Can't see the company name of the billboard company. Is it out front? No, that's interesting you would say that, Christina, because there was an original billboard being negotiated by Phil and Willie Jones in 2016, and it was Outfront Media. And Outfront Media actually backed down to the cult of Scientology, and they withdrew their offer. And in fact, I remember that Outfront Media, I had to scold them. I had to give them a public rebuke. Not that it matters, but yeah, Outfront, I actually have them. Outfront Media, they backed down to Scientology. Yes, here it is. This is why my vast archives of content are so valuable, because I always can refer to them. And I want to show this to you because you raise a good point. Share screen. And okay, let's share this. Let's put this on the screen. Now, Christina, back in 2016, this was my article of March 16. You can just put out front, one word, in the, this was going to be the one Phil and Willie Jones did. Call me, to my loved one in Scientology. And they had it placed near a Scientology facility, stopscientologydisconnection.com. And Tony Ortega reported that Outfront Media capitulated to Scientology censorship. So, and I'd reported that they had a fourth quarter loss that year of 73.9 million. So, and I noted their share price. So they canceled the advertising contract when this menacing, I called Scientology a menacing oddball special interest group. So I could understand, like, Sony had a problem about North Korea, but really in America, Outfront backed down. Outfront backed down. That was shame on them. That was disgraceful. So I don't think Outfront, they just don't have the hevels to go up against Scientology. They run away. They want like safe things like yogurt, things that are safe. It's too bad for them. So because you get, if you really do some stuff, wow, they're really pathetic, aren't they? London Gal, they are really pathetic. They were actually quite pathetic. By the way, London Gal, I'm married to a London gal. My wife is London, grew up by Harrods, went to a French finishing school there. If they want my $2 million property, I'd tell them to go pound sand or pay me 10 times what it's worth. Well, Layla, that's what they in Clearwater, when they were buying up all that land with Trish Duggan's money, they were paying way over market. And I think if I were the billboard company, I might. And I would just try to do that. Yes, exactly. Care for JCYT. So challenge for true to form. I would demand you know what? Big Dog Music, I know what you're saying, but I would try to play this out legally. And if for nothing else, the PR damage it's going to do to Scientology, I wouldn't go quick on a big refund. I would go to court and fight it out, because there's something about free speech that's so important. The principle of free speech here in Scientology's act of censorship has to be seriously Seriously, the media needs to look at this. This is a direct, concrete, real world happening right now example of Scientology censorship. This is why we call Scientology a cult. This is direct evidence of how cults behave. And this is why I hear what you're saying, but I think the free speech principle is more important. And with all due respect, yes, you could take your money and go, but then the free speech would be destroyed. And L. Ron Hubbard, what he wanted was to destroy free speech. In 1954, he wrote a policy saying the only place Scientology should be discussed is in the religion section of the newspapers. Hubbard's deal was, we want to control everything that goes on, you know? It is legal because they have a fence, period. Maybe, yeah, I'm not a lawyer. And OSHA has probably been called many times. And like I said, if they have to, and you got to get an inspector out, and if they have to pay a fine, I wouldn't be surprised if they buy the billboard. I wouldn't either. And if I were the billboard company, maybe make them pay $20 million, because if, the billboard's rented for a year. I mean, Aftermath rented it for a year. And what you could do is Aftermath has a rent, they have a contract. And if Scientology wanted to buy it for 25 million and Aftermath would get some of the proceeds, that would be another power play to make, where Scientology has to basically write the billboard company a big check, a substantial portion of which goes to the Aftermath Foundation. I would make a power play like that. That's something you could do. Elementus, I like your avatar, the pink duck. Is it legal to block billboard intentionally that someone paid for? There's a case somebody emailed me today that said if the billboard company paid for an easement, that is, they paid Scientology an easement to operate a billboard so that Scientology couldn't block their display. It's a landmark case, and I'll post it. It would be a tort. It wouldn't be illegal, but it would be actionable in court as a tort if there's an easement. What about high winds? Jay, I raised that question today in a big Santa Ana. You would think you would lower it because the center of gravity is real high and the Santa Ana is kicking up. I don't think you'd want a scissor lift up, but I need someone who knows center of gravity and wind loading on scissor lift. We need someone, I know how to think about it, but I don't know the wind loading calculations on a scissor lift. But that's a good question. Stream from that location with a big poster with an arrow up at it. Scientology doesn't want you to read that. Yeah, Christy, that's a great idea. This will become the billboard Scientology doesn't want you to read, and it will get a lot of publicity, and that's what we want to do. So get the story out. I think here in NJ, you have to pay for a month, give or take, and then if someone pays more, then they can buy it over yours. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know how the contract was constructed, Christina. That's a good point. Because California contract law, New Jersey contract law might be different on billboards. California has very different policies on billboards. For a long time, it was very permissive, and there was a surfeit of billboards when I was growing up as a kid. Isn't that a great word? That's from the Bible, a surfeit. So there was a surfeit of billboards, and they passed some laws to restrict it. And so I don't know how the billboard racket goes on here in California, but I know you can make a lot of money if you own them. I would like E. Stuart Mills about the legality, please. Brandana, is Stuart in his office? Stuart's on a call with David Miscavige about what, Brandana? A billboard? Oh, yeah. E. Stuart Mills will be on probably tomorrow about the billboard crisis. The billboard crisis in Los Angeles and how Scientology is being persecuted. They're going to spin it, but my lush life, like that time, my lush life. Cheers to you, madam. I don't even have my iced tea because I jumped on a live and my staff went home for the evening. Brandana, yeah, no, he's my lush life. Yeah, Stuart's on the phone with David Miscavige. Billable hours for Stuart. Good for him. is I don't know. I think it's a private company, and I don't have enough facts yet, but we'll check into that. Fanatic High Desert Railroad, good to see you. Makes it even more curious as to what is said. Yes, Julie B. Jeffrey, may I ask if the hearing for the liquor license is still on for tomorrow? I don't know. I haven't been following that. I think it is. If you're talking about La Cowbell, I believe it is. Yes. I got an email from the appeal office saying they were going to use my info for the hearing on March 12th. I think it is on, Julie. You'd have to check the calendar, the court case. I believe La Cowbell liquor license. The hearing is still on for tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to attend. There's always a good dental ad for. Yeah, that's what they can use the billboard for. A dental ad for Ron. I did something recently that I'll show you since we're just kind of hanging our dental ad. I love my audience. Yeah, they should use the billboard for a dental ad for the birthday boy. His birthday boy's coming up. They should buy a dental ad. Care for JCYT. I'm going to share this because this is something I noticed. Dumpster diving through Scientology, which I always urge people to dumpster dive on their websites. So what I posted recently, May 20, 2023, how time flies when you're being an SP. Now, Scientology posthumously cleans L. Ron Hubbard's teeth. So we saw in their Granada television ad, we saw those filthy choppers. Look at those filthy choppers of L. Ron. It'd be like, Lafayette, I can't believe you eat with that mouth. Look at that. Everything would look at those teeth. They're nicotine stained. Eesh, can you imagine his breath? My God. Now, what they did in the newest version, they digitally cleaned Ron's teeth, even though he'd been dead since 86. So yeah, Billboard ad. This would be the before you had the OT8 toothpaste. With radiation. And after using the OT8 toothpaste enriched with uranium, with enriched uranium, there would be your sparkling teeth. I thought that was really funny how this is just the stuff we catch. When you're a longtime Scientology watcher, you just catch, you archive everything, and then you go, okay, I'm used to Ron with his crappy, dirty, filthy teeth. And then suddenly you go, oh, hold on a minute there, OSHA. I see what you did. That's not his real teeth. And they kind of, cleaned him up. Look at his skin's a little bit sweaty and oily there, like some con man, a little bit sweaty, a little bit oily, dirty teeth. And this is where he said, the interviewer says, and I said this the other night, but it's funny. I want to share it. The interviewer says, and Mr. Hubbard, what about your second wife? He goes, I never had a second wife. My first wife is dead, and I'm quite happily married. All of which was nonsense. Yeah. So anyway, I think your idea for a posthumous I think you're like L. Ron Hubbard toothpaste. I think that's a great idea. Big concept. We need E. Stewart's opinion. We're going to get it. I told you, my listener, we're going to get it. I'm going to have E. Stewart on tomorrow. And I always have to sign a release. And I got to sign, whenever I have E. Stewart Mills on, I've got to sign a bunch of contracts with him. And if you're not in a cult, why don't they want you to read the sign? Well, because you know what? They don't care if you're not in Scientology. They don't care if you read the sign. They care about the Sea Org members at Pack Base reading the sign and calling the Aftermath Foundation. That's what they care about. And that's why they took all the Sea Org members off the streets and blocked it. I said today in my live that they're going to probably order Sea Org members to walk with their heads down looking at the sidewalk. By the way, did you see that old man I filmed? That Sea Org worker was out on the public sidewalk where there's no expectation of privacy, and his back was bent over in the worst way. He looked in his late 70s. It was horrible. Poor old man, somebody's dad, somebody's grandpa was pushing a trash dumpster. It just broke my heart for that guy. Unless, of course, he was a horrible, he did horrible things while he was in the cult. You can't tell, but it's still, so the scissor lift is there for Davey to read the sign. Well, actually, you make a good point, SP Squirrel. You would need a lift. You would need to put little Davey on a lift to go up to read the sign, because he would have to. That's probably what it's actually there for, so he can do an RTC Inspector General inspection. Coward, fake, religious, money sucking vampires. True. And there used to be there was this thing. Let me see if I can find it. There was this one year where they did this screwball redesign of uniforms, and they were gonna do these we called them space vampires. Let me see if I have the space vampires. Space vampires. By the way, cult apologists, J. Gordon Melton and Massimo Intravigne are vampire lovers. Anyway, they did this thing where they were going to they had these Sea Org uniforms. They had capes, and they were just weird looking. It's like 2008. We called them the space vampires. Yeah, so funny it is, D. Remember when that YouTuber was able to superimpose sucks right on the Scientology sign? Oh yeah. That was he had that projector. Scientology sucks. That was really funny. That's still up there. Mini Angel, the crane needs to be moved. Well, that's probably what they're working on. Okay, so Jess did a drive-by and is going back soon. Good. Is the American Veterans Center Scientology? I see the shorts pop. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know how how that all works together. But no, the American Veterans Center, to my knowledge, is not Scientology. But if the dude 907's question, if we had any veterans, American Veterans Center, if we have any veterans who know that in the chat, please chime in to answer the dude 907 question. The big dog music. File charges on them to OSHA. Yeah, I think so. And does Scientology provide health insurance to its people? No, it does not. It does not provide. When you're a religious worker in America, you're classed as a religious volunteer. So you're not entitled to medical insurance. You're not entitled to minimum wage, overtime, a pension, or anything. You sign a contract when you go into the Sea Org as a staff that you're not doing this for any expectation, but you'll be provided a small stipend, and you get room and board, or as we call it, 3 hots and a cot, because they stack bunk beds 3 high. And what they try to do when there's an injury, MJ, they try to shoehorn it into workman's comp. And since you work 18 hours a day, just about everything is workman's comp. So no, Scientology wants to spend the least amount of money possible on Sea Org and get the maximum amount of production. And that is that's complete exploitation and human trafficking. It's a crime against people. Lauren, I think Asia is there, but I'm not on TikTok. Okay, yeah, I think it's got a lot of attention. Jess said her and Chris and Asia were going to Big Blue later. Good. I think I'll run over there. It's already 9:43 here in Los Angeles, but it's early. Jessica said the liquor hearing was reset to November. Oh, okay. So that answers the question about the liquor hearing for La Poubelle was reset. Their motto is to always attack, never defend. Or exactly it. L. Ron Hubbard, Tina Belcher, thank you. L. Ron Hubbard said, always attack, never defend. L. Ron Hubbard said, the defense of anything is untenable. And he said, always turn it around and make it about them. So if you ask them a question, they'll say, why are you attacking my religion? Which is a non-answer, but it's always turn it around and attack the attacker. Yeah. Always attack, never defend. Hubbard's never get into debates about Scientology and always turn it around. So, Tina, what are your crimes? What are your crimes, Tina? Spit them out. What are your crimes? Have you ever blown up a planet? They'll do stuff like that. Have you ever blown up a planet, Tina? Come on. When did you blow up a planet or a galaxy? Are you a whole track implanter? And they do stuff like that. I call it, it's like, it's just crazy stuff. So, But did you blow up a planet in another life 58 million years ago? That might be in our files. I like I like that name, Ruby. Yeah, he is true. There's nothing they could do about it. Reckless Ben. Yeah, Reckless Ben. That was a crack up, Ruby. Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. It was really funny. Is that why they swat people with no cares? Christy, yeah. Scientology is lawless. They do not care about consequences. They think short term, but yet when they get into something like Masterson, or they get taxed, or they'll try to wear it down in court. Yeah, they don't care if they have their PIs calling in fake calls on burner phones. They don't care what it costs the taxpayer. Do you think Scientology cares about taxpayer dollars or the taxpayer or even human decency? No. They use child labor. They've ruined kids' childhoods. Kids have no consent. They brutalize children, destroy their childhoods, destroy them. They destroy people. They bankrupt people. They infiltrated the government. I mean, these people are criminals. Scientology is criminal at its core. They take all the money. No, they don't care if they swat people. You just have to get it how profoundly depraved they are. Profoundly depraved. I just got an email from them at 6 p.m. Pacific time saying it would be added to the file for March 12th. Okay, so that's the law poop bell liquor license hearing. If they have to assault someone with a scooter, they don't care. True, Bob Cox. This is where a dirty PI will hire someone to hire a mentally ill person or a drug addict. And then they'll assault somebody, or you will get a Scientologist to commit the assault, and you'll say you owe it to the group. If they have a Scientologist in lower conditions as a form of penitence, then they must run over someone's foot with a scooter, commit an assault. And, if they get charged a misdemeanor assault, the church, would arrange for them to get a lawyer. But Bob makes a very good point, because we did have someone assaulted with a scooter yesterday and they don't care. And that's why I think they're upping the ante with violence in the streets using third parties. Yes, that's who it was, Reckless Ben. Till a bum falls off and they get sued by the city. And again, the dude, 907, dude, because they have parishioner money, David Miscavige, it's not his money, so he doesn't care if they get sued. And that's the thing. They don't care. And so that's just the culture. That's the mindset. It's criminal. And they call it WOG law. And again, in white nationalist supremacist circles, people who are pretending to be Christians but aren't really, they say we obey God's law and not man's law. And that's true of Islamic terrorists, other religious terrorists of any stripe. We're above man's law. We follow only God's law. So Scientology has always wanted to be a law unto itself. They consider that they're a form of Sharia law. That is, they're a law unto themselves and they're not accountable. And that's why they always fight. They are obstinate. And when you realize how stubborn and obstinate and dishonest and violent they are, then you start really getting, because the closer up you get to Scientology, the more fanatical and violent they become. And this blocking this billboard, it shows that they do not want free speech. They cannot allow it. They'll talk about it in DC. They'll talk about the UN Declaration of Human Rights, where people are entitled to free speech, but not when it involves them. So Scientology is a psycho-terrorist organization. It's an organized criminal syndicate that operates based on psychoterrorism and intimidation. So this billboard blockage is indicative of their psychoterrorist criminal behavior. There's a billboard above La Poubelle with the Scientology ad. Is it time to change that message? You would think Leaner Cat 9, but I think the billboard company probably has a pretty cush arrangement. Because look, if you have a billboard there in Franklin Village and you get a long-term ad and maybe Scientology's kicking in some way, no reason to change. Sometimes when you have a long-term customer, see, here's the thing about me having sold for in corporate for a long time. If if you have a long-term customer that's guaranteed revenue and you take care of them and the checks keep rolling in, you'll take care of them. And so that's one less headache. And it generally falls into the 80-20 rule where 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your customers. So it's easier to take care of your long-term customers, take very good care of them, know where your bread is buttered, and then work to get that other 20% and grow your business. So when you have a book of business, if I were the sign company, that's my opinion as a business person, I would keep the La Poubelle contract. Now, if someone offered me a lot more money to change it, I would change my mind, but I would go to La Poubelle and say, "Hey, got to raise your rent on the board, or 'cause, you got to the end of the month to pay me double the price." So if you come in with more money, you can buy it. But generally, that's how I would think it works. But of course, there could be, maybe a PI saying to the billboard company owner, it'd be a shame if your daughter found out you did this, this, and this, and your wife. Who knows? There could be all kinds of stuff. You never know the real story of what's going on with Scientology. But as a straightforward thing, assuming there's no fuckery afoot, it's probably just a good, stable business. And why rock the boat if you got income coming in? Um, I need to move. I need to forward it to somebody. Yeah, okay, thank you. Leaner Cat 9. The restaurant owner would never let an anti. Yes, and that's the other point. Well, you know what though, Christy, I don't know. I don't know. Think La Poubelle owns the billboard. We'd have to find out. That's a good question. Who owns the billboard above La Poubelle? If the building owner owns it and it's their own billboard, then they can do whatever the hell they want. And you are correct. They would never let an anti-Scientology billboard go there because their clientele largely consists of wealthy trust fund Scientology kids who are bored of Celebrity Center and go there to drink and get shit faced. Is the American again? I would need to know have an American veteran note to answer that question. So there's a veteran who can answer dude's question, please. Jespy is the only one who heard. Okay, so we don't know, but someone said they got a notice, and I get auto notices for trials. Send it over to Jessica. Agreed. Yeah. Well, yeah. See, this is where I get automated notices of court cases. Like I just got one in the Masterson case. I get automatic notices sent out by the criminal court on Masterson. So that'll have to be sorted out. Common license content. Are you curious what it is like to leave Scientology? Oh, that is a great common license content. Are you curious what it is like to leave Scientology? Lisa, that's a genius question. I think the Aftermath Foundation should take notice of that. Are you curious what it is like to leave Scientology? That's brilliant, Lisa. That's A+ work. La Pou appealed and asked, but it was not granted according to the site. Okay, this stuff is can't tell you. Don't know if I'm giggling about the underpants or giggling at you. Yeah, yeah. L. Ron Hubbard's birthday boy underpants, size 9,000 waist, hanging off the crane. I have a shoop. I'm not going to put it up tonight. To me, it cracks me up. But I'm not going to waste your time looking for it. I have a shoop that is so funny of the Rose Parade featuring L. Ron Hubbard, David Miscavige. I'll show you the Rose Bowl shoop in another live. Claim your destiny. Oh, I like that. Reach out and claim your destiny. Claim your destiny. Remember to always suggest to police that they will be shamed publicly when it is all out. Yeah, you're on camera. Yeah, they, maybe they'll contact LA or will. I hope. Yeah. Aftermath wants it to close to help people that want to leave. Exactly. Community, police, and fire will benefit from seeing the billboard too. They will, except for Hollywood LAPD division, which will, could find an excuse to maybe put some flashbangs into it. I mean, they have to change it up and protect the kids. Yeah. So, I mean, I am an apt at capturing link, but here's from the title news. Brand new billboard on Fountain Avenue from the Aftermath Foundation, 147 views. Okay, so yeah, if we can't get it, I don't want to keep the audience waiting while so we sent it to Defender of Ants, Scissor lift tech. I can operate if you need me to move it. Yeah, but it's on private property is the problem, and I don't want you to get in trouble, Good SP. I'm glad you can operate a scissor lift, but it's on private property, and they have heavy chain with padlocks. So we don't cross the line. We're not Scientology. Don't break the law. Nothing's worth going to jail for. Oh, okay. Then I'm going to go take a look at it. I might do it on another live, but thank you so much, Utology. Well, if you guys want me to just go look, see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me just look. Stay tuned. I'll go and let me see if I can find it. Now you've got my curiosity. Now I have to find Utology. Utology. Now I need to see it. Oh, here it is. Well, let's go take a look at it. Okay, let me share the screen. Thank you for bringing this up. I found the video and let's look at it together from Utology and entire screen window. I'm just looking for it. Just give me a minute. Oh, is that it? Hold on a minute. Welcome to Utology. Cancel. I'm trying to find it. Okay, there we go. So let's look at this together. Okay, so this is the Utology. I make sure my volume is up so we can hear it. And we're going to make it big. Okay, let's watch it. Oh, wait a minute. Now that is a snap. I don't want to play the whole thing. I'll put the link in the show notes. Utology, that is a great video. That is really great. It's so upbeat and happy. I like that. Alex, we're celebrating life without LRH in London on March 13. Life without LRH? How is that possible? Oh, you're an apostate. Okay, yes. Because in Scientology, they're going to have L. Ron Hubbard's birthday cake. It's birthday cake. And can we demand cake at orgs like in Anon days? Yes, Unstable Data. Good to see you here on the phone. Yes, you can demand cake. Because I remember it was cake, but we spelled it how do we spell it? CAEK? That was cake in Anon days. Over 800 bajillion copies sold. That's true. Dianetics is the best-selling book ever in the history of the universe, in all universes. And there you go. Julie, she got street number. Okay, good. I'm glad there's so much going on. Danny Masterson's birthday is March 13 as well. Well, he'll be celebrating it up in San Luis Obispo in prison. And maybe they'll give him a piece of birthday cake to go with whatever psych drugs they have him on. You too. They took my gas station. Okay, so, Danny Masterson's birthday. I know it's weird. He and Ron share the same birthday. He probably shares some more stuff too. Bling 48103, very specific. I believe those helicopters have license plate reader tech and facial recognition tech. They distribute photos. They know who's boots on the ground and who's in a car. Are you talking about LAPD? Yeah, they have very sophisticated technology for license plate reading. Scientology orgs all have license plate readers going by. Today I was doing, as I said, I don't have the device here, but I was reading frequencies. I'm trying to map all the frequencies around Celebrity Center. And I know that they are collecting our phones. They want to geolocate you. They want to get your phone signature. So not that you should care or, live your life around that at all. You can use different phones. Printed that many books, Nancy Goodbrand says, and still have 90% of them in storage. Yeah. It's I know so many former people who have LRH libraries, the basics, just setting in boxes unpacked as the streamers to the hearts. Okay, so Mary Craig Smith. The question mark. Oh, good. I'm glad you came back, Mary, because you had me curious. I was curious about what did Mary mean. The question mark was an incidental bewilderment. Oh, however, I would postulate that not jaywalking would be a crux to liberty, in as much as it establishes a predictable expectation, just saying in actuality. Yes. Again, jaywalking in the mind of God. We need to, Mary, we need to go off topic, and we actually need to have a symposium. Jaywalking. Does it exist in the mind of God, or is it a statist construction? Predictable expectation. What a conundrum. What a conundrum. See, I'm not interested in angels dancing on how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. That was like, I read Summa Theologica and other writings of the church fathers, and I was more interested in the practical things like jaywalking. And what I said today, I meant. So this is an interesting thing. Mary Craig Smith and I have philosophical discourse during live streams, as we should, because we go far afield. This is normal behavior from religion. I think you mean cult. And as E. Stuart Mills, my alter ego, would say, it's not a cult, it's a new religious movement. And it's the right of new religious movements to block billboards with scissor lifts. I mean, here's a test. Okay. I'm an old Bible beater. Here's a test. In fact, I should use my Bible. I should use my Bible. My friends, if your religion depends on scissor lifts for salvation, then it's not a religion, it's a cult. It's a cult full of demons, and it's probably led by a little short guy with a pompadour, little tiny guy. So if your religion depends on a scissor lift to save itself from its own members, CM messages, then it's a cult. Straight from hell, straight out of the pit of hell. Amen. Can I get an amen? That's some good preaching you're not going to get on other channels. Because I grew up fire-breathing Pentecostal. That's in my DNA, and it will never go out. You can take the boy out of Pentecostalism, but, ma'am, you cannot take Pentecostalism out of the boy. To a certain extent, I'm not going to handle snakes. I don't like reptiles. Maybe it's my age, but even in fun, there's something lovely about a man tipping his hat. Well, thank you. I believe in an age of chivalry. I'm from Tombstone, Arizona. And I mean, that's where if I could have been born, I would love to go to Tombstone. I just like the manners. And I saw a disaster book at Savers thrift store, 99 cents, and it was 50% off all day. Went back a couple months later, and it was still marked down 49. So that's a Dianetics book. They can't unload them. Folks, we can't give these away. In LA, you can't use your fireplace or you can't barbecue, but if you could, there'd probably be a lot of Dianetics books going up. Not that I believe in book burning, but I'm saying staying warm during the winter if you don't have, if your electricity was turned off. It seems Aja is alone at Big Blue. She's been approached by Tony. Are you talking about ZDT? Tony? Ooh, God. If they have a hydraulic failure, yes, if a hydraulic failure happens, someone could die. I told you, Peter, Scientology does not care. When David Miscavige was informed of the death of Lisa McPherson, and this is in court testimony, he said, I didn't think anything about it when I was told she died because people die. That was his answer, and that's an illegal thing. People die. And that's what he said of his own father. David Miscavige said of his own father, the late Ron Miscavige Sr., if he dies, let him die. So that harlot son of a bitch doesn't care. But if it's him, look at during the pandemic when he nuked everything with that antiseptic formula. It's based on hydrogen peroxide. I mean, everything got sprayed all the time, aerosolized. When it comes to him, oh, God forbid, get out the hyperbaric chamber and the Dick Cheney style, bunker that's, UVC treated air and water and everything else. Okay, so I think Asia's in good hands. Possibly trouble. How you doing? Good to see you, ma'am. Welcome into town. Could it be tortious interference if it blocks a nonprofit billboard? I don't think it can be tortious interference if it blocks any type of billboard if the billboard company has easement. I'm not a lawyer. We need a real a lawyer, a serious lawyer, someone like who actually graduated law school and is practicing. But yeah, I think it depends on an easement, and I'm have someone chasing that down for me. Okay, so help needed at Big Blue. Asia being harassed by Tony. Is that ZDT? Which Tony is it? Please tell me. Yeah, if you're near Big Blue, go help Aja. We have to put out, yeah, live streamer needs assistance. I would proceed. Code red. If she's being harassed, someone should get over there if they're listening to my stream. If someone can call Jessica or Streets, please let them know Aja needs help. Continued. I am freer to drive when anxiety is reduced. True. I am freer to walk when anxiety is reduced. Hence, predictable rules of engagement is liberty, not restriction. That's a fair point. Yeah, if you reduce anxiety, I can see that. So, but again, as we read in Holy Writ, Jesus was never concerned with jaywalking. But he also said you have to stay on the straight and narrow path. So I think we're getting close to a resolution of this question. Staying on the straight and narrow path would be the opposite of jaywalking, which is veering, because Jesus tells us wide is the road to hell and destruction. The path to heaven is narrow, but the road to hell is wide. The path to destruction is wide and paved with, the road to hell and destruction is wide, and there are cult scissor lifts in the way that could fall on you and kill you. No, I just made that part up. I did add some of that. Yes, Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue, and now it's in Theta Avenue. Unstable data mass. Could this be a tactical provocation to lure Foundation into risky litigation? It could certainly a provocation, but the litigation wouldn't be risky. The question, Foundation has the right to put up the billboard. Does Scientology have the right to block it? And if they do, then they will have a scissor lift up there forever rotting. And if there's a hydraulic failure, as Mr. Parker said earlier, someone could get killed. If I ever see a red-haired Chihuahua, I'm running. That could be Ron coming free with those rotted teeth. Here for the truth of what's the username of the stream. Electric Avenue, then you take me higher. Yeah, that's taking me back, Stephen Weishaupt. And if you love pina coladas and walking in, what is it? That's pina coladas and anyway, takes me back to those old songs. Some of them are very good, some are horrible. Some of the 70s songs were just awful. Like Alone Again Naturally. It could be called Leah Remini Way, not L. Ron Hubbard Way. Well, perhaps someday it will be Leah Remini Way. Perhaps with a giant sculpture of an elaborate manicured hand flipping the bird of the big blue building. I like that. Leah's chat brought it up. That's great. Yes, again, Stephen, it is Scientology's property where the scissor lift in. Folks, people are coming in late to the chat. So if we get the same question, it's new listeners. So yes, Scientology owns the property where the scissor lift is on. And it's a crappy chain link fence. It should be called DOA. Okay, you're Ron impersonation. I like doing Ron impersonation. There's a thing called Bibliomancy where you just open the Bible to a verse and read it. So we're going to do some Hubbardomancy just because I like to do Hubbard. Just to kind of entertain my audience. Kind of fun. So I'm just going to open it random. I picked up the book Scientology, a new slant on life. A new slant on life. You know what's missing here on the book cover? A scissor lift. I think they should have a scissor lift on their latest edition of the PTSP course on how to confront and shatter suppression. They should put a scissor lift. So we're going to do I'm just going to open at random, Warrior Queen, just for you. I'm going to just read Hubbard at random. Okay. The adult is the problem in child raising, not the child. An adult has certain rights around children, which children and modern adults rather tend to ignore. A good, stable adult with love and tolerance in his heart is about the best therapy a child can have. The main consideration in raising children is the problem of training them without breaking them. Oh, yeah, everything he writes is what he does the exact opposite, because Scientology's opposite world. In Scientology, they break children from birth, literally. This is why, anyway, it was sometimes when you get the right quote about how Ron was a nuclear physicist, it's funny. Other times it's just vile. But we do read about the antisocial personality. And Hubbard said that everyone 2.0 or below is antisocial and they should be disposed of quietly and without sorrow. And he said there was a certain Venezuelan dictator who noticed that all lepers in Venezuela were beggars, and by the simple expedient of destroying all beggars, he cured leprosy. That's genocide. It is not destination total freedom, it's destination total death. And what is Aja's username? If someone could answer that. Okay, good. Is she okay? Oh, thank you for letting us know. I was concerned. She has a friend around the corner. Good. Did you see DOA reading the paperwork for the RO hearing tonight? No, I didn't. The restraining order, I'm sure it was written by Church of Scientology lawyers because they get involved in everything. Terminator reminds me of Scientology, all robot, Skynet, Navy MK Ultra experimentation. There are some themes there. There's some themes they're just saying. Feraliminal. Oh, that's a cool name. That's like subliminal, but feraliminal. LRH sounded like he was in every stimulate known to man in that Xenu clip. Well, I think his son LRH Jr. said that he would light up the rockets, and go on these writing binges, meaning he'd light up the rockets with substances. Oh, good. I'm glad Jess is headed over there. Wow. Oh, I like that. Okay. Yeah, I got it. We're communicating in symbols. Almost. Yeah, I got it. That's a great symbol. I might just make one of those and go put it over by Big Blue. By the way, I went to the corner, Mary, and I crossed at the corner. I didn't jaywalk. I did not jaywalk. And at jaywalking's, it's not a crime here in LA since someone informed me that there's the freedom of walking. You may walk anywhere and everywhere you want. But nevertheless, I like the narrow path which leads to heaven. It is all a buildup of more zombie-esque, more cult behavior, setup after setup, and androids now with Neuralink doing the audit work. Neuralink does the audit work backdoor now. Wow, that's heavy. But you know what? In Scientology, I hear what you're saying, claim your destiny. But Scientology, it'll do it. Scientology works by the EMeter. And to paraphrase Charlton Heston, Ron would say, you'll only get my EMeter when you pry it out of my cold, dead hands. They'll never give up their EMeter. David Miscavige would never let anyone get Neuralinked. Scientology wouldn't. That's not 100% standard tech. They're going to just stay with this complicated maze of the org board. Oh yeah, we read that. Okay, so China's actual real estate is falling apart, not just the market crumbling. Oh, correct. Yeah, if you're listening to Peter Zion, another analyst, yeah, the actual there was so much corruption they wouldn't buy real concrete. By today, if you saw my live, did you see that crappy concrete at the old cadet org there in New Hampshire? If you've ever watched these redneck repairs, where they duct tape their everything together. Scientology at the old cadet org where they print, they had a cinder block sitting there with the fence posts in it, and they filled it in with gravel to hold it. Completely redneck, broken concrete. So yeah, China's actual real estate market is falling apart. Evergrande, and it'll keep going. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad. Thank you for letting us know that they're safe. LRH did take loads and loads of drugs. Loads and loads of drugs. John Atack believes that's where the idea of body thetans come from. That is feeling smashed into loads of pieces. Yeah, I've heard John and I have talked about that many times before. I have a different take on where body thetans come from, and it's my history of the EMeter series. And in a nutshell, it's this. L. Ron Hubbard had engrams from 1950, from May 9, 1950, when he released Dianetics, up until he wrote the OT levels. I think having conditioned Scientologists to accept having their engrams handled on the EMeter, the state of clear was the top you could go. L. Ron Hubbard said, you always have to be creating a new game or the game becomes getting you. So in my mind, because you had an EMeter, and all it does is read galvanic skin resistance, and you can interpret that galvanic skin resistance, the needle moving on the meter, any way you want. The EMeter is agnostic. It only reads galvanic skin resistance. You can call that anything you want. If you want to call it engrams, you can. So what the undisclosed hidden secret of the EMeter is galvanic skin resistance, and everyone has that till the minute they stop breathing. Maybe it goes on for a few minutes after you die. I don't know. But to me, because L. Ron Hubbard had conditioned Scientologists to believe in the EMeter and engrams, it was a simple jump via language and via the construct of the OT levels to lead them to believe that they had body thetans. So to me, it was a conversion of a conditioning process by using language and now calling the same galvanic skin resistance activity body thetans. So you went from engrams to BTs. That way you could double your product line offering from the state of clear up into the OT levels. And so that's what I think happened. I lay that out carefully in my history of the EMeter, which I did during uh, the the dark time when we all were shut in. I went into a very mental, pure, a very intense, mentally pure state, and I saw the connection. All you have to do, because if all you have to work with is galvanic skin resistance driving a meter, then you could call this movement of a needle an engram, but you could just as easily call it a body thing. And so what happens is in Scientology, they'll always say it's not you, it's your reactive mind. It's not you, it's your BT case. So because you have this separation of the Thetan who has an external problem called a reactive mind, and when he or she vanishes that, they've been mocking up their reactive mind for the clear cognition. They now have another problem Hubbard presents called body thetans. But you're still using galvanic skin resistance as the unseen and undisclosed hidden engine of engrams and body thetans. So that's the mechanism I see. Now, were drugs involved? Probably. Janice Grady says no, and she was a messenger. L. Ron Hubbard said yes. So I think there were definitely alcohol and drugs involved, but loads and loads. John Atack has got some research, and I talked to Johnny. That's an interesting thing, but I have my own take on Hubbard. Just had to upgrade his product market offering, and he admitted as much. If you don't, he said you always have to be giving them a new game or show, or the game becomes getting you. And because Scientologists were so interested in novelty, Hubbard was always inventing new releases, new grades, new levels. So he has the main bridge, and then there are non-bridge actions like the L's. But it's all powered by your own galvanic skin resistance, and then your conditioning to believe that activity on the meter is metaphysical entities or engrams. So that's it in a nutshell. Leah and Tao are heading to Big Blue now too. Good. I'm glad people are going over there. The audit is to promote and push sexual deviance like the mob. Yeah, we're getting, that's a thing for a different show. We're kind of informally chatting here. Prayers for Scientology fundraising email leak restopping sign. Really, there's a I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Unstable datum email leak. Oh, is there a leaked Scientology email? Could you clarify? We're going to wrap it up here. Going almost 2 hours. Tom Cruise is hiding in his closet and giving out the orders. M.M. Schwartz, I like that lightsaber. I think Cruise is Admiral Tom Cruise can be giving some orders. They deliver the lift. Cheshire Cat. Yep, they deliver the lift. I wonder what it's going to be plus transport. Yeah, we're going to see what tomorrow brings. Here's the truth. No street is not with Aja Hermad. Oh, okay. Are you saying Sonia is streets with Aja? I just wanted to know that she's safe. So funny because by making such a big deal about it, they draw all members to think about it. Yeah, it's the Streisand effect. The Streisand effect. Cheshire Cat. I'm a rigger. They deliver the lift, so that the owner of the lift delivers it. Did they bring that out on a flatbed? How do you tow a lift? Is it on a flatbed, Cheshire Cat? Can you let us know? Hi, Jeffrey. Do you have a PO box? No, I don't. But email me, and I can give you an address to send it to. News Screw. Yeah, I just if you go to my blog, I'm just jeffreyaugustine@gmail.com. Hit me up. So, yeah, Cheshire Cat. Do they have to deliver that on a flatbed, and then how do they get it off the flatbed, or how they get it there? I'm really interested. I know they had to open that big chain link fence. No, no, sir, I would like to offer my services to you. Well, thank you. I'm interested in what services you have to offer. Please, again, hit me up at Gmail, Jeffrey Augustine, Jeffrey, Augustine, Augustine, at gmail.com, and let me know. We often have uh, people with very, very gifted talents that I can work with. So I'm always glad to work with people. A lot of what I do, I couldn't do without help. I have some experts who have helped me so much. One of my experts has a PhD from the London School of Economics. He is amazing, amazing. I mean, he's an amazing guy. All the best to you, Jeff. And all. Thank you. Claim your destiny. Thank you so much. Okay. Looking back through news stories, there is nothing new. They have blocked billboards before. Yes, but this is 2024. So we're gonna follow this story and see how it develops. Little Davy acts like Wile E. Coyote hires Acme Scissor lifts. He does. Dang, it is a modern Tower of Babel. Oh, what I put up before, the 1,000-story Big Blue. Please, everyone, look for building violations and report it to LA Building and Safety. No noise, you are correct. If you could go look for building violations, one of the most shocking things I did in the early days on my first Scientology, my client Gunter, we did an inspection of Big Blue of the electrical, and I was on the second or third floor by the nursing stations inside Pac Base, the early 80s. And they had the fire doors chain locked using chain and a padlock from the inside. And I said, Gunter, why are they padlocking the fire escape doors? He said, oh, don't worry, someone has a key. It's just that if an FBI raid happens again, we don't want them to get in. That actually happened. And Scientology has never disagreed with me that they didn't have the fire escape doors chain locked from the inside. Elon Musk could advertise SpaceX there. Agreed. That is insane. That tower was so emblematic of something. Yes, it was. Do I have the tower up? The tower, but it's not a Babylon. Uh, I don't have it. Wait a minute. Let me see if I have the tower up. People seem to like that. Oh yeah, here it is. Let's show it one more time. There's the tower. Is that so? That's what it should look like. That's what it should look like. Scientology should build their tower to the heavens, and then Yahweh would confuse them so they would speak different languages. But that could be the Scientology Tower of Babel. Look at that. That's what they should have done and just kept building that. And then people would have come to LA just to see, because they would be curious about this cultic monstrosity. Plus, airplanes could fly into it by accident. A Cessna in a heavy wind. Anyway, that was just some of my engineering on my satire blog. Okay. Just got on here. I hate notifications. Denise, I hate notifications as well. Okay, we're going to take some questions and wind up. How about a billboard with a quote from LRH's original OT8 where he calls Jesus a lover of young men and boys? Alex, you're onto something. If you quoted Hubbard, if you put a billboard up with Hubbard's original quote, because Hubbard says, I hate to disabuse those, or he says, I hate to step on the toes of those of you who are Christians, but Jesus was, I'm going to actually do a show and read the quote in Hubbard's voice. Alex, that's a genius idea. Boy, that would be, you could put that right outside the Vatican, and that would get their attention. Billboard of CLB Bill and Alex lovingly. That's a visual. Okay. So, might change my name to Jeff Chasm with the way you're rocking. Yeah, you had a killer time. That's just funny. Well, I like wearing the hat. It's gotten to be stylish. It just fits when you have long hair. You should wear a hat and aviators, and it's kind of, maybe I might grow a beard down there and get a Kid Rock look going. I think they might want to get the Aftermath Foundation in litigation. Yeah, Unstable Datum said someone said that, but they got the lease for the year, and we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I'm sure it's being talked about. Billboards are interesting real estate investments. True. I am not sure they are created anymore. So recollection, the ones that exist are grandfathered in. But that, you know what, Mary, I believe that's true because in LA we had too many. We had a contagion of billboards, and I think they're worth solid gold as an investment. The real estate boards, especially along the freeways, and I do believe they are grandfathered in here in SoCal. Uh, in SoCal, um, and at least in the 5 counties that make up SoCal. Um, Unstable depositions let out all their secrets. Yeah, that's true. Uh, if they get into deposition, 5 lawsuits currently going on, and Danny M's missing gun, all to be continued. That's a good point. You know, they may not want to get into litigation over this billboard because you could depose them. And so, yeah, billboard real estate realities. Yeah, I believe because I know when I was a kid growing up, there were billboards galore. There was also what was called photochemical pollution, where there was so much pollution in the 60s when I was growing up as a kid. There would be red sunsets, and then that's when they changed the gasoline formulation. And it really did make a big difference. There's less smog here in LA uh, than there was certainly in the 60s, where it was awful. It would burn your lungs during PE. There are bus stops with posters across from the restaurant. That's a good idea. We could go to the bus stop level on the streets. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. And Jeffrey's about 45 minutes behind on the live chat. Yes, I am. It's sort of overtaken me because I mean, it's great to have a live chat, but um, there are a lot of comments. I'm so glad people are coming in. I want to share. I can't get everything. Church Scientology staff still spraying wargs with Decon 7. Thanks, Julie. Fire rocks. Yeah, that Decon 7. I put up the safety data sheet on my blog, and that stuff is nasty. That Decon 7, when you read about what it does, there's the warning labels on Decon 7. Because I remember I was studying it. I better not put that one up. We'll have some political stuff. Church of Scientology goes all in with its new gospel of Decon 7. And of course, they didn't like it. But I had the Decon 7 is classified. Oh, here it is. Let's just share this for a minute. Because Decon 7 is nasty shit. And let me just say Decon 7. Well, now where's it at? Oh, here it is. I'm going to share this. This was when they were using all that Decon 7, and they didn't like the jab, but you can see that Decon 7, it says that the EPA classifies it as a pesticide. So what I did, because I was curious about this stuff, and it's formulated from 7.9% hydrogen peroxide in detergent. The detergent penetrates the cell wall of viruses, allowing the hydrogen peroxide to get inside and inactivate the RNA. So there's parts 1 and 2, and you have to mix it. But the fact that it has a detergent and it's hydrogen peroxide would be highly corrosive without a lot of personal protective gear. It would also tend to destroy surfaces. I thought they went into overkill. And on my blog, I showed a microscopic image. And, I get into science. I did work in UVC air and water disinfection as part of my portfolio and lighting and photonics. And I kind of understand deactivation. But there's the safety data sheet, and it's nasty stuff. So I'm surprised they're still using it. I'm glad you shared that they're still using it. That's good to know, just as a point of reference, that they still need to Decon 7 everything. Wow, that's a level of paranoia. LAPD wearing uniform is a direct conflict of interest if the public doesn't know at any given time who they're protecting. There's LAPD. I put up the LAPD manual on my blog, and I'll do a tweet on it. I'll repost it. There's specific rules about who pays and when you may not wear the uniform. But if you type in LAPD manual 2023, it's a publicly available document and it lays out the rules. And you want to go to the operations section of the manual. If Jesus forgave out jaywalking, it's if Jesus forgave our jaywalking, its intersection, he did it at an intersection. Oh, I see. I'm not sure I understand it. Could you rephrase that, Mary? Because this is part of a profound theological dilemma I'm having. Hey, Jeff. Okay, I like that circle. Help me film them, then I will. Hey, Jeff. Legally in California, to use an ALPR plate reader, you have to post online your privacy policy and data usages. Scientology must be using them illegally. Then, I think so. If you could email me, this is if they're using a plate reader. I know you have to have a permit, and I didn't know you had to post online. Why don't we take this up? Help me film them as an article for Scientology Money Project. Because if we can force them to post that they're using plate readers, I would really like to know this. Oh, are not out. Okay. If Jesus forgave are not out, George, what? Yeah, at an intersection. We're going to have a show on this, Mary. You and I will go into philosophy. Well, I didn't know there was a word for it, bibliomancy. Yes, it's bibliomancy. And the idea behind bibliomancy is that the Holy Spirit would actually just guide you to a verse. So if we were just to open the Bible and I picked out a verse, I'm in Proverbs. And it says, my son, if thou will receive my words and give, oh God, the print is so small. Anyway, I need my glasses for this. It's tiny print. When I was young, I could read it, but it's dark in my studio right now. Yeah, bibliomancy. So I wanted to have Hubbardomancy, but that's the idea. You open a verse, and God would open the verse to the verse that you needed to hear in that moment through the Holy Spirit. Accuse the protesters of doing the swatting calls. I remember that. They accused the protesters of doing the swatting calls. Oh, that's a mess up there, readdressing it for clarity. If Jesus forgave us for jaywalking, it is interesting that he forgave us at an intersection. Oh, the cross. Oh, that is fascinating. That is fascinating. For all sins are forgivable except blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. That's the unforgivable sin, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. And in Scientology, it's blasphemy of Hubbard. Question: does the EMeter jeopardize an individual's nervous system as a physical technology? Arnie Lerman and I used to discuss this. And I talked to, one of my mentors in chemistry, genius chemist. He thought that in the presence of elevated levels of calcium and magnesium, CalMag, it could depolarize neurons. That was just a conjecture on his part. Arnie used to think that it could over time. One metric we notice is it seems like, and there's not a scientific study, it just seems like a lot of OTs who've been on the level a long time, solo auditing, die of cancer young. That's given rise to speculation that low level current over time daily, because you do OT sessions several times a day for short periods of time. What does that electricity do when you look at the nervous system and how it propagates through? That's a good question. I would want to get an expert on. But the myelinated sheath and the construction of the nerves, you are moving electrons through that pathway. What does it do to the brain? Does it disorient you? And I think that would make for a great show. And That's a good question. I have my own theories on it. I don't want to get into it here. We'll go off. Faulty premise, Sciento. I think also emotive intelligence trained out of children is abuse. I agree. Kate Kelly, I'm so glad you said that, because when you have children do TRs and you dehumanize them, you turn them into robots, you crush them. Yeah, that is child abuse, an inherent emotion of child abuse. Thank you, Alex, for posting my Gmail. And cherry pickers are delivered in big rigs. Oh, thank you. So you do have a big rig come, and that tower is compensate much? Yep, it would be little Dave and his cherry picker compensating. Compensating. Yeah. Hey, hey. That's I shouldn't post that. Big Blue is like Hotel California. You can check in anytime you want, but you never can leave. You are correct. That's all of Scientology. And you look like Father Guido Sarducci. Well, that's a compliment, Cynthia. I love Guido Sarducci. He was an SNL character. And Alex, I am so far behind right now, but we're having fun. So, yeah, we're going to wrap it up. The Uber Bob. I love that picture. This is such a swank 1940s kind of guy. You know, he's a kind of, gentleman, probably a drunk, but, nice drunk. That's a really classy picture. Been fascinating as usual, but it's time to go to bed. Good night and all the best. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you, the Uber Bob. And did they have Uber in the 1940s? No, they had taxis. So we're going to wrap it up. I'll take one or two more. Question: what's the difference between staff and Sea Org? Oh, that's a really good question. And I can take this even though I was never in Sea Org. Basically, Sea Org has no legal form of existence. The Sea Org does not exist. And that's on my blog. You can go to the header of the Scientology Money Project. I have it here. And it'll say, I have to put it back up. The Sea Org doesn't legally exist. I'll put it back on the header of my blog. The Sea Org is a pledge you make to serve Scientology for the next billion years. So it has no standing. The Sea Org has no address, no stationery, no bank account, no members. And this is what David Miscavige's attorney said in Rathbun versus Miscavige RTC et al. The Sea Org has no members, no stationery, no address, no one to give or receive orders. So the Sea Org is just a pledge you take to serve Scientology for 1 billion years. Once you sign this pledge, and the purpose of the Sea Org is to put in L. Ron Hubbard's ethics or Scientology's ethics in on this planet and this universe. The Sea Org pledge actually says the purpose is to put in Scientology ethics on this planet and this universe. So it's the entire universe. Once you sign the pledge, then you sign a contract with a Scientology corporation, Church of Scientology of Los Angeles, for example, or Flag Service Organization. Once you sign the pledge, then you sign a staff contract. And so you're not an employee, you're a religious volunteer, but you're a staff member of a legally separate org. The way it works at a high level, Religious Technology Center owns all the rights to everything, all the intellectual property. They give an exclusive license to Church of Scientology International, CSI, as a sub-licensee. CSI, in turn, sub-licenses all the legally separate orgs. So every part of Scientology is legally separate from every other part of Scientology. And that was done to prevent the church from being sued into non-existence in the Willersheim case, where it was all one big fat chicken that could be plucked. So a staff member is a Sea Org member. They've signed the pledge. Now, there are staff members who are not Sea Org who don't sign the pledge, but they sign staff contracts of usually 2.5 to 5 years. That's a general overview. Oh, there's the link. And then with that, Apostate Alex posted it in the comments. You can see. Thank you, Alex. if the Sea Org doesn't legally exist, how does it run Scientology? So, in point of fact, the Sea Org doesn't legally exist, but in reality, it's like the mafia. And they used to say that the mafia doesn't exist, but it really did exist. But they didn't have like an address for the mafia. So it's that kind of thing. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. It was great to hang around for a couple hours and talk 2 hours. I really enjoyed it. And we'll be back. I'm going to go back and check out and see what the situation is with the man lifted. If they get scissors lift in and 10 or 20 of them tonight, maybe they're going to just go buy a couple. I think they're still getting some. I think they're going to have bigger ones in. That's my prediction. And thank you so much for being there. And I'm going to leave on that cool new intro outro that Alex made for me. I'll see you next time for the Scientology Money Project. This is Jeffrey Augustine on SPTV.